Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way, if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments, get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.
Yo, what's good, y'all? What's the word? What's going on? How everybody doing out there? Y'all already know what it is, man. We back again, and it's time for the weekend banger. That's a lot, y'all. It's time for the weekend banger, man. It's time for the weekend banger, y'all. That's a lock, and I got one. I keep a banger at all times. Like I always say before I start these videos off, man, I have no problem delivering this content to everybody that's out here working hard, working a 9 to 5. Everybody that's out here with their own business, getting to that bag the legit way. I make sure y'all got something to watch, man. I promise y'all, there's no problem on my end. I also have no problem making sure I'm warning y'all and telling y'all about how dangerous prison is. I only ask for one thing in the process. That's for y'all to just stay out the way, man. Like, talking to everybody, man. Like, you somebody my age or in your 30s, and you out here still thugging, man. Like, you gotta grow up, man. You gotta grow up, man. I already know it's rough out here. I already know that we grow up in environments, man, where we have to be the way we are, man. But, like, you are in charge of your own life, man. If you getting up there in age, man, what you still running around with the YNs for, man? You still out here wilding, man? Like, at the end of the day, we don't want the YNs wild. But at the end of the day, man, they got to have their time to be able to experience what the other side of life is, man. And that's prison. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds sad, but like a lot of us got to go through that experience, man, to learn to be able to come back out and be better men. Now, you have a lot of dudes that go in there and come back out and still be psychos. And like, I don't never understand that, man. But like, if you somebody that's older out here, man, like, you're supposed to be setting examples, man. You don't supposed to be the dude that's still out on the corner hanging with the youngins, man. You supposed to be out here trying to show them that you got motion. You know how to get to some money, man, without having to run from the police. I know this sounds like a Mission Impossible mission that I'm asking from the older guys, man, but nothing is ever going to change in our neighborhoods if we don't set examples by being older people, man, and showing the YNs and showing the young people how to move. Like, if we don't set examples, man, then it's never going to end the way things are in the neighborhoods, man. So I'm just putting that out there, man. So if you someone that's older, man, like, set a better example. Learn to stay out the way instead of being in the way with the young boys, man. It don't never look right when you got gray hair on the corner still trying to hang out with the young boys, man. That don't look right, man. So tighten up, man. Everybody, man. Everybody need to tighten up, y'all. Period. But y'all already know what it is, man. This is the weekend banger. So what I need y'all to do with this one, like, shit, subscribe this one, y'all. Let's get it. Let's go. But it's time for business. It's time for business, y'all. And the story I got for y'all today is called My Roommate Was Too Flamboyant. Part 1. Crazy story, crazy situation, but we are aware, people. We in penitentiary, man, where crazy things happen all the time. And I'm telling y'all, man, a lot of times in there, man, you got some dudes, man, that still come in penitentiary and still trying to act like they on the streets. That's a bad way to be, man. I'm not telling you to keep your clothes right and keep yourself together and don't look like you super dirty or trifling or whatever the case, man. But like, if you coming in the penitentiary to still move like you on the streets, as far as your attire, as far as like the way you dress and like your jewelry and all of that, I always felt like that was in the way. I always felt like if a dude want to come to prison to be like on the spotlight, like he's not really a guy that I want to be like, man, or want to hang around for real, to be honest with y'all, man, because like being in the spotlight in penitentiary is worse than being in the spotlight on the streets. Prison is smaller. On the streets, you can blend in more. But in prison, you're going to be seen by everybody, man. Trust me, everybody gets jealous. So with that being said, though, we on Lawrenceville for this show. We on Lawrenceville. I can remember being in 60 building for this one, y'all. We in 60 building for this one, man, and this is the second time that I'm in there, man. And like, you know, it took me a while to get back to the other side once the sergeant had moved me from 30 building, man. Like, when he got rid of me and moved me from the part that I was in for years, man, like, I was mad. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man, because he really just picked our part. He really just picked our part apart, man. He got rid of everybody that had motion in there that was going on. Everybody just was falling like flies. Everybody just was dropping like flies. Everybody was dropping. Everybody was falling. He was moving people, locking people up, catching people. He was doing all the above. So when I left, it was like, you know, I had to really get used to being back on the other side, man. But I done been over here for a while now, man. Like, you know, the good thing about being on the other side, Baldhead was in the next building. So, you know, when I go outside, I was able to kick it with him. You know what I mean? So it was like, it was a bittersweet situation. I was still being able to adapt, man. So like, I'm over here now probably like 6 months, because I'm over here now probably like 4.5 months. You know what I mean? It took me almost a year to get back. But I'm over there probably like 4.5 months, man, and like for real. But the whole time I was in the joint, man, like I had one roommate the whole time I was in there, man. And this dude, man, he was a cool dude. He stayed in the cell. He was one of them dudes that really stayed in the cell. He gave me my privacy when I needed, but he played the cell crazy. He had his own TV, all his own player. He had all of that. But like he really played the cell. So like I would give him his space and let him be in the cell, because I would dip out a lot and be in my man's cell messing with him. Or I'll just, when I went out, or if I ever needed the room, I'll just tell him, let me get the room, and he'll dip out. But my roommate loved the room, and I won't mad at that. He told me, he was like, yo, I don't mess with a lot of people, so I just stay in here. So bro, that used to keep bro out of trouble. You know what I mean? He was already older. He already was into his bed probably like 6 years. He didn't have a lot of time. I think he had like 10 or something like that. So he didn't have long left. So he just basically stayed out the way all the way up until he went up for his annual review, and he came back in the room and told me that they was transferring him. So I was happy to hear that he was getting transferred, but I was just like, oh, I gotta get another roommate. So my homeboy downstairs, he was in the cell with somebody he was cool with. So I didn't want to move him up there. So I just was like, I'm gonna have to roll the dice. So it was crazy seeing bro leave that morning, man. You know what I mean? We kicked it that night. I made a decent pizza for us before he left, because all his stuff was packed up in property, man. Made sure bro was straight. And then bro got transferred, man. So when bro was gone, I had to sell Dolo probably like 3 days. You know what I mean? I had to sell Dolo probably like 3 days. And then out of nowhere, I ended up moving a new intake in my joint. When he walked in, I knew he was coming in my cell, but I could just see that he was way different from a lot of intakes that I saw before, man. And I say that because when he walked in the joint, man, like I spotted, man, the man had the same shoes I got. Now, I had a pair of Air Force Ones, all whites, man, but I used to keep them in the cut, and I would find out who was in the visiting room before I went to visit, because I done knew people that was in there that went to visit with the shoes they done got, like some shoes they don't supposed to have, and try to show off in visiting room. And when they go to visiting room, the police will be in there hating. Where you get those from? And they'll take your jokes. They probably take them home and weigh them. You know what I mean? So like my jokes would be in the cut. I had my jokes in a plastic. I had my jokes wrapped up in a trash bag. You know, we get the plastic trash bags that we make the food in, the little small. We had the small ones on Lawrenceville. We never really used the big ones. We didn't have to really use big ones on Lawrenceville like that. I think they had them though, but I had my shoes wrapped up in that, along with my Nikes that was crispy too. I had them wrapped up in that, the state Nikes that you can buy. So when I seen bro walk in, he got the, you know, you're supposed to be walking in, you're supposed to have the Abraham Lincolns on, because you just got transferred. Like you got your property right there, but nobody's changing into their property before they come into the block, is what I'm saying. This man walked into the block, man, I promise you, man, he was a brown skinned dude, man. He probably was like my height, slim dude. And he didn't even have a beard. He had like the little Shaman Moore jank right here, like on his chin. Like, and you don't even supposed to have that. But Lawrenceville, they don't be caring too much. But he had like just a little bit of hair right there on the chin game. No sideburns or nothing. That's all he had in the mustache. So when he walked in and I see him, he walked in, he got the steak stuff on, the little burgundies that they give you. You know what I mean? He got the little burgundies that they give you. He got the little blue scrubs that they give you, the little thin joints that we wear. He got that joint on. But the crispy all white Air Force One game, he got them jumps on. You know what I mean? So he come in the jump, he like, so everybody looking at him like, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to distinguish where he from. I'm trying to see who gonna pull up on him. I'm trying to see who know this man. That's what I'm trying to see, because I know he coming in my room. So he get to the jump, he get to by the table. The police walked in and was like, you going in the cell with white. You in that cell right there. So I'm already standing on the top tail looking at the whole jump. I'm looking at him, so he like, as soon as he smiled, I was like, what he smiling for? You know what I mean? So he grabbed his stuff, he started coming up the steps, you know what I mean? So when he get to the room, he was like, man, what's up, man? G, man, we gonna call him G. He was like, what's up, man? He called me G. I was like, what's up, bro? You know what I mean? I was like, what's good? I was like, where you from? He was like, yeah, I'm from Tidewater. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna say what G was from, but he was from Tidewater. So I'm like, all right, that's what's up, you know what I mean? So he got all this stuff. I helped him take his stuff in the room. So when he got in the room, you know what I mean? That's when we kind of talked for a second, you know what I mean? He was like, yeah, man, that junk crazy. I ain't even want to come here, man. They got rid of me, man, on some old hating stuff, man. I was like, for real, where you come from? He was like, I just came from Greensville. So I was like, you just came from Greensville. You know, Lawrenceville and Greensville are level 3. So like for you to go from a 3 to a 3, like it got to be something that happened that would happen when he was on Greensville. So I'm like, yo, bro, what happened when you was on Greensville, bro? Why they move you to Lawrenceville? He was like, man, long story short, man, dudes was just hating on me, man. You know what I mean? He was like, look, the lady, man, the work, man, I booked the lady in the booth. And dudes used to be mad, you know what I mean? He was like, dudes used to be mad, man. Like, you know, dudes was mad that I went to the VI, my brother bought me the Air Force Ones. You know, we was like, man, dudes just be mad at me, man. So I'm like, bro, why you got your Air Force Ones on now? He was like, cause I'm trying to wear them state shoes they was trying to give me, man. Nah, I can't wear them jumps, man. Them jumps like they hurt your feet, man. He was like, I don't see you with none of them jumps. I was like, nah, I don't wear them jumps either. I was like, but you know, when you just coming from intake though, like he was like, man, I had to put my shoes back on. I said, look, be careful with them Air Force Ones though, bro. I said, because you already know, like the police be hating and you know, dudes be hating too. So you like, what's up with dudes in here? You know what I mean? He told me where he was from. I was like, yo, bro, there ain't a lot of people in here that I know from your city. You know what I mean? I was like, there's some people on the compound. I was like, but from your city ain't a whole lot of people, man. He was like, man, that's what's up, man. He was like, man, look though, man. He was like, what's up with the chicks in this junk? I was like, bro, you on Lawrenceville now, bro. I said, nah, I ain't never been to Greensville. I said, Lawrenceville is the best prison in the world. You know what I mean? I said, bro, you all right over this junk. I said, when it comes to chicks, he was like, well, who, they got boyfriends and stuff? I said, bro, look, now you asking questions I don't really know nothing about. So that's above my pay grade, bro. So boom. He in the cell for 10 minutes. I can't give up no information about if certain COs got boyfriends and all of that. Like, that takes time for us to get there. And I figured that he knew that from how my response was. So he continued getting his stuff together as we kicking it in. From the first impression, he seemed like a cool guy. You know what I mean? And like, that's the type of roommates I be wanting to have. You know what I mean? Like, he's coming from Greensville. So he came in there, he had a TV, he had a CD player, he had everything. He had everything you're supposed to need. He had everything that you're supposed to have as a person locked up. He had food, he had his hygiene, you know what I mean? He had clothes, he had all of that. So when I come back in, he just now finishing his stuff up. You know what I mean? So he like, man, he was like, what's up with that joint that's working in the building out front? I was like, who you talking about? We're gonna call her Miss Ann. I was like, you talking about Miss Ann? He was like, yeah, the little short joint. I was like, man, I don't know, I mean, dudes you talking to? He was like, man, I'm saying though, like, I seen a lot of joints. He was like, man, I seen the nurses when I was up front. He was like, the nurses was decent, you know what I mean? The nurses was decent. So as he talking, I'm like, yeah, I was like, bro, there's a lot of jumps, man. So he like, man, yeah, man. He's like, then when I came in, I smelled some la-la. He was like, they be having la-la on this jump. I said, man, they be in here from time to time. I was like, but you scrub though, because I be having the la-la sometimes. I be messing with the la-la crazy. So he was like, oh, all right, that's what's up. That's what's up. So he was like, hey. He went under his bed, he pulled out a brush, you know what I mean? So he went to the mirror. He was like, man, y'all mirrors better? Greensville got them state mirrors, man. He just started brushing his waves. He was like, start brushing on Johnson. He like, yeah, man, he got way better mirrors up here, man. Mirrors way better, man. Way better, man. So he started brushing his hair. He grabbed some water. He was like, that man started massaging his waves, y'all. That's my word. You like this. That man started massaging his waves. And as soon as he finished, he went in his box. Came out. This man had a white do-rag, y'all. So boom. I'm looking like, he like, yeah, man, you know what I mean? So, you know, trying to see what's going on around here, man, you know what I mean? Trying to, you know what I mean, see what's going on around this jump, man, you know? Trying to get it right, man. He put that jump in one knot like Memphis Bleak. I was like, oh, man. I said, bro, you got a white do-rag, man? He was like, yeah, man, I had this for a minute. I said, bro, they let you get through in property with that jump? He was like, man, lady ain't say nothing, you know what I mean? So I just came right through with it. I'm like, that's crazy. He was like, well, look, though, I'm about to get on the phone. I was like, all right, I'm holler at you. So, bro, dip, you know what I mean? Bro go hop on the phone, you know what I mean? Bro got the white tee on now, the crispy joint with the beater under the joint, you know what I mean? He got the little scrub pants on, but he got the lows, the Air Force Ones on, you know what I mean? Crispy. He got the Dewey on with the tie knot in the back of the jank, with the knot tie in the back of the jank, and he on the phone like this. You know what I mean? Bro just, everybody looking at him like, dude's pulling up like, yo, Weezy, who your roommate? I'm like, yo, that's his name, says his name G. You know what I mean? He was like, where you from? I told the dudes, but he was funny. He was like, why? He was like, yo, bro, crazy, bro, downstairs, bro, just got here, bro, got the do-rag and the Air Force One game. I'm like, yeah, bro, like, I said, bro, just come from Greensville, though. I said, bro, just came from Greensville, so, you know, he kind of was probably living like how we living up here, so, you know, like, you know what I mean? That's probably why he lit like that. He was like, man, I'm saying, though, like, like, you know, like, I thought I had known, that's why I came and asked you, so a couple of other dudes asked me who he was. I told him, dudes ain't really know him, you know what I mean? So, he get off the phone. He come back upstairs. So when he come back upstairs, I'm about to go ready to leave out. He like, hey, look. He was like, look, man, will I get in trouble if I go out in the hallway and say something to the old girl? I said, nah, I mean, just act like you gotta go talk to the counselor. So it was still daytime slightly, like, you know what I mean? Like after 2 or something like that. I said, no, let's go holler at the counselor. You gotta holler at the counselor. The lady will let you out from the booth. I said, let's go out there, bro. Do what you gotta do. So he was like, all right. That's what I'm gonna do. This man went back in the cell. So I was like, man, I forgot my sport, because that's what I was about to do. I was about to go down to my man's cell and help him cut up this stuff that we gonna make this meal with. So I turned around. I went back to my cell. When I opened the door, bro was in the mirror like this. The do-rag was off. He was in the mirror like this. He was like, phew. I was like, yo, bro, what you keep doing that with the water for, bro? He said, cuz, man. He said, waves come from your hands for real, man. You got to massage your waves, man. He said, you got to Mr. Miyagi them jumps, man. You know what I mean? He was like, what's up, I'm straight. I looked at him, I'm like, what do you mean you straight? He was like, I'm saying I ain't got nothing in my nose and nothing, right? No cold in my eye. I'm like, nah, you ain't got no cold in your eye, bro. You know what I mean? He was like, all right, look, I'm about to go do it, bro. I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? Bro left out the cell, y'all, so boom. I'm like, man. Bro only been in the pod, not even the whole 24-hour game. And he already talking about going out there getting at the people, man. But I'm telling you, there's so many dudes in penitentiary, man, that just freaking live like this. They don't care. They trying to get a woman. And I respect it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if you gonna be a barracuda and be down on these women, the way you gotta be down on these women, then so be it, man. I'm not knocking it, man. I don't never knock it, man. It's just, it never was my character. So when I see it, you know what I mean? I just observe it and I just, you know what I mean? Like just see how it goes. And it never goes right. But at the end of the day, this is what he want. This is what he like to do. He say he be at the women. So bro get the door, but I see that he slid. You know what I mean? Stay out there. So I'm chilling with my man, getting the meal right. I ain't even paying no mind, and my celly ain't even come back through the doors because we sitting at the table kind of like, you know, I'm facing the door. So I'm like, man, I'm saying to myself, my celly ain't come back through the joint yet. So I said, ladies, stand by for child. Stand by for child. Y'all gonna stand by for child. Stand by for child. So everybody moving around. I go back upstairs. Roommate in the cell. I'm like, man, I'm my roommate at, man. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, the slide open up. The lady, Miss Ann, walked in. The lady, Miss Ann, she was like, she was short, but she was chubby. You know what I mean? She had a little booty. She had a gut too, so she had booty do, basically. So she was alright, you know what I mean? She was good for penitentiary, man, walking around with booty doing stuff. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? She come back in the door, but she come back in through the door with bro. So when she come back in the door with bro walked in with her. So she go to the brick wall like, y'all better get ready for child. Y'all better get ready for child. So bro just posted up right there with the brick wall and just kept talking to him. You know what I mean? So he looked at me, he was like, you going to child? I was like, yeah, I'm going to child, bro. He was like, all right. So he dipped upstairs. You know what I mean? He came back down. Bro come back down with the white do-rag game. You know what I mean? That junk was blowing in the wind as he was coming down the steps. Bro was coming down the steps like this. Bro was like, do-rag was like, he was like, he was about to walk back over there with Shorty. You know what I mean? Seeing me, he was like, hey, look, me all that you right quick. I was like, what's up? He was like, man, this word Shorty on him. She's talking about where I get these air. We call them DC Knights. We call Air Force Ones DCs, but I'm gonna call them Air Forces for no to confuse nobody. He was like, yeah, she talking about where you get them DCs from. Where you get them DCs from. He was like, man, shh. I told her like, I'm me. What you talking about? Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. So I'm like, man, that's crazy. He was like, man, but look, man, she on me, bro. I think she on me. I was like, man, well, that's what's up. Bag her then. You know what I mean? He was like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna try to do. So we went to child. Came back from child. We came back from child. He was talking to her again. You know what I mean? So he talked to her the rest of the day. Man. I ain't even gonna lie. He talked to her. It was time for us to lock down. Time for her to go home. You know what I mean? So when he come back in the cell, man, he just was like, man, for real, man. He was like, this junk crazy, man. He was like, man, shh. I'm about to get in the shower real quick, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm about to get in the shower, you know, and then holler at the bride. Now I'm about to wind down for the day. You know, I'm feeling good now. He was like, what's up, man? I can get in the meal with y'all. I was like, I already had put something in there for you because I wasn't gonna eat in his face. You know what I mean? Like, bro making a decent pizza. So I already put something in there for my roommate can get a couple of slices into his bowl. You know what I mean? Eat it with a bag of chips, had something to eat at least for the night. Even though he had food, but this is exclusive food right here. So I said, nah, bro, I already threw you in the meal already. You straight, you know what I mean? He was like, oh, I appreciate that, man, Weezer, man. Appreciate that. I said, nah, you good. Bro, go to the shower. You know what I mean? Bro, go to the shower. So bro in the shower, and bro come back from the shower, he come back in the cell. When he come back in the cell, I'm like, oh, let me get out your way, bro. You know what I mean? I dip out the cell. But I just stand in front of the cell because you want to give your roommate privacy when he get out the shower. Anybody that's in the cell, when it comes to the prisons, they got the cells. When your roommate takes a shower, man, and he comes back, get out the way. Don't stay in the room. Like, the man gotta lotion up, all type of stuff, man. Like, you know, Sussex too, we had to be on point. We gotta lotion up, do everything, put our clothes on, shoes on in the shower after you take a shower. So you take all of your stuff to the shower on Sussex too. On Lawrenceville, it's a little bit more relaxed. Like they had maniacs and goons, but still though, it wasn't a lot of like activities like Suss's 2 going on. So you can actually come back to your cell and your flops and then get yourself together. Then come back out dressed. You know what I mean? So I gave him his space and I dipped. So I'm just standing in front of the cell though. You know what I mean? I'm standing in front of the cell. This time around, my cell is right not far from the laundry area, so I'm right over there. So I'm just standing over the jump. My word, bro came out. He stepped out, man. That's my word, man. Bro had a V-neck. He had a crispy V-neck. I'm talking about the V-neck was dumb crispy. I'm looking at it like, man, bro, get the V-neck game from. Bro got the V-neck, the crispy jump. He step out the joint. Man. Bro got the sweet Nike flip-flops. You know what I mean? He step out, he got the sweet Nike flip-flops. Then I looked. Bro got the all-white ankle socks with the gray on the heel game, y'all. So boom. I haven't seen those since I've been on the street, man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. They didn't sell us those. It might be prisons that y'all watching that y'all might have been able to order that, but no, we can't order that. We only can order socks, or you get the state socks. That's the only thing you get. And the jump with the gray on the heel, on the back of the heel game, I haven't seen those since Mom Deuce used to buy them from Kmart, man. I promise you, man. So when I seen bro with the jumps, I ain't want to act like I want a dude that won't used to nothing. But he step out, he got the do-rag on extra crispy. He got the crispy V-neck on. He got his sweatpants on now. Then he got his sweatpants, both legs pulled up on some naughty by nature trench type shit. He got them jumps pulled up with the crispy Air Force Ones. You know what I mean? He got them jumps pulled up, but he got the Nike flip-flops on with the socks with the gray heels. So I'm like, I say, bro, where you get them jumps from, man? He was like, they don't sell them on property, that's for damn sure. I said, bro, I see. Where the hell you get them jumps from? He was like, man, shit, man, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know I be moving around. I was in Greensville moving around. I told you that. I said, bro, look, you ain't never was you getting some money on that joint though? He was like, I mean, like, you know, man, like, you know, I put a couple of dudes in the game. He was like, man, but like, I just be trying to get with these bitches though, man. Fuck and get ready, you know what I mean? He was like, man, I ain't got no 2.5 years left, Weezy. I said, oh, you that short, bro? He was like, yeah, I go home such and such. I'm like, man, that's crazy, bro. He was like, yeah, so I'm trying to go home and fuck these bitches. I said, you need to go home and put a nigga in the car. That's what you need to do. He was like, yeah, we'll see, you know what I mean? But for the most part, though, I'm trying to see what shorty girl gonna do tomorrow. I said, what, she gonna bring you something? He was like, I told her to bring me something. I said, what you telling her to bring her, some tobacco? He was like, nah, no tobacco, hell no. I said, what? I said, you went for Lala off the top, bro? He was like, nah, hell no, I ain't asked for Lala. I said, what the hell she bringing there? Goddamn, some Hardy's chicken? He was like, what the hell is Hardy's chicken? He didn't say that, though. I'm like, Hardy's chicken? He like, oh, hell no, not no Hardy's chicken. I said, bro, what the hell what you asking for there, bro? I said, oh, and that's when it clicked. It clicked right there in my brain. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, you asking for some old flash. That's what you want then. He was like, I mean, nah, nothing like that. I just told her that. I told her bring me a G-Shock. I was like, you told her bring me a G-Shock? He was like, yeah. Yeah. I was like, he said that nice and proud too. He was like, yeah, I need to watch. You know what I mean? I told her bring me a white jump. I said, a white jump? I said, bro, what you think this all white? Like, yo, Gotti, bro? So boom. I see, like the white do-rag, the white V-neck game, the white Air Force Ones. Now you trying to have an all-white G-Shock game? I said, bro, you about to try to smoke them out this change. He was like, man, I mean, if she bring that proves she fuck with me though. That proves she fuck with me though, you know what I mean? I was like, bro, we gotta see this then. I said, man. He was like, man, she said, you know, that shit ain't nothing. She know what them shit said. You know what I mean? She got me. I was like, bro, off the first day though, bro. He was like, man, look, bro, that's what I do. I be on them bitches, bro. I was like, man, that's crazy, man. You know what I mean? Like, you already know how I'm thinking. I'm thinking about longevity. I'm thinking about the pack. I'm thinking about Lala for God's sakes, man. But still though, I never seen a CEO woman do nothing for a guy this fast. So I had to see this with my own eyes, man. So the next day roll around, bro, get up. You know what I mean? Bro on the same fly activity. He on the same, you know what I mean? The way he move is swift. Like he didn't even walk regular, man. Like the way you see him walk, it look like he was ice skating. Bro walk like this. Bro be walking, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna see how this lady gonna carry the lady with the morning shift. So he go out, he holler at her, you know what I mean? I see him talking to her the whole morning, you know what I mean? So I ain't say nothing to her the whole morning until we locked down. You know what I mean? We locked down at 10:30, bro came back in the cell. He was super happy. He walked, this is how I know he had something. I'm on the bed, let me lock it down. I'm laying on my bed already watching TV. So he come in. Lady, the same lady that he talked to, she walked by and closed the door. Boom. When she closed the door, because that's what they supposed to do. They supposed to close all the doors. Lawrenceville, they gotta close the doors manually. Boom, 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 boom. They can open them manually, all of them, but they can't close them manually like how Sussex is. They gotta close them with their hands. So the lady walked by and closed all the doors. He's standing at the door like this. He like this. I see him. I'm looking right at him because they right there at the door. He like, I'm gonna see you when you come out. All right. Shorty walked by and smiled. She walked by and gave him the teeth game. Pause. I was like, as soon as she walked by, he was just standing at the door. He was like, he started hitting the beat on the door. He was like, it was like, stand for count, bottom tier. Stand for count. So they counted bottom tier. And they come through and counted on the top tier. So when they passed us and counted, then she went over to the other side and you heard that back door open, boom, because they go on the 32 part next and count. Man, I promise you, man. Bro turned around like this. Bro was like, what's my, see what I do? You see what I do? He handed me the joint. I'm looking at him like, I said, man, I looked at the name, said G-Shot. I was like, Shorty brought you a G-Shot, man, an all white joint. He was like, yeah, I told you. I'm like, I'm saying in my head, yeah, this fresh. But this is like a watch flavor wear, y'all.
Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way, if you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous. Did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments. Get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.